Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I am making relish. It's a sweet relish. This recipe is one of the first recipes I ever canned for my husband. I think I got this recipe from a Taste of Home's cookbook that my mother-in-law gave me as a shower gift. And we've been married for over 25 years and I've been making it ever since. And this is my husband's favorite relish recipe. I do have a zucchini relish that he likes, but I do think he prefers the cucumber relish over the zucchini. But honestly, I don't know if he can tell the difference. There is a difference in the recipes, but they're both sweet relish. So he likes sweet relish, and so that's what I stick with. I'm making a double batch today because I'm running low on relish this year. And so I needed 10 pounds of cucumbers, which my garden is supplying cucumbers right now. We're in the thick of growing season. I've already started grating up some of the cucumbers. I've been using my finest grate on my food processor. I've tried different ones. I actually tried this, just the knife on it for my first batch that I did, my first cucumber, but it kind of made it a mush and I didn't really want that mush. So this is a jar that I made last year and it looks like I used the same knife that I'm using this year. So we're just gonna stick with that. I'll put the recipe in the description below this video so you can find it there and it will give you the complete directions on how to make this. So one thing I forgot to mention was you can actually use some of your bigger cucumbers in this relish. I have one here that was starting to turn a little bit yellow, but I tasted it and it's not bitter. So as long as they're not bitter, it should be fine. The next ingredient that you're gonna need is carrots. And I do not have carrots ready in my garden yet. So I bought some organic carrots. I want this to be like an organic relish. So carrots are next, and I'm gonna need 4 cups of carrots. And I'm gonna use this same shredder just to finely shred them up. I don't think I'm going to peel the carrots. I'm just gonna scrub them up really good. All right, put these in my compost bin. This goes to the chickens or my compost bin, whatever. So I bought a 2-pound bag of carrots. We'll see how far this goes. I need 4 cups, but if this doesn't make 4 cups, it's not gonna make or break the recipe. Let me wash these up first. All right, these carrots were actually pretty clean, so I didn't have to do a whole lot of scrubbing. I'm going to run these all through the food processor and see how much I get. All right, let's see how many we have, how much we have. I have a 4-cup measuring cup right here, so a couple big pieces. Oh, it might be 4 cups. I think this is a 4-cup food processor. Well, that looks good. We're just gonna call that 4 cups. So definitely 2 pounds of carrots is more than 4 cups. So that's good to know. This is starting to look yummy. Can you see this? Yum. I also don't have onions ready in my garden, and I didn't want to harvest any yet. So I'm actually going to use the cutter part, the knife, for the onions because these aren't going to shred well. I did buy a bag of organic onions. I'm going to need 8 cups of onions. Now it's okay if these are a little bit on the softer side, but oh, that one didn't get cut. But you know, you just want to chop them up. I'm using a sea salt. You can use pickling salt for this too. But just sprinkle this on the top. I'm not even going to mix it in. The next thing we gotta do is take some ice, which I've been saving from my freezer for the last few days, and we need to pour the ice over the whole mixture. I'm gonna take my whole bowl. All right, there we go. Now we're gonna let this sit for 6 hours. So it's best to do this right away in the morning, and then by early afternoon, you can go ahead and process it the rest of the way. Or you could do this in the evening, be right before you go to bed, cover it, let it set overnight, and then do it right away in the morning. So it's up to you how you wanna do that, but I'm doing it in the morning, and I'm gonna process it this afternoon. So I will bring you back in about 6 hours. Well, it's been over 6 hours, and my ice has melted off of my cucumber mixture, and yeah, I just kind of got busy, so it's okay if it's over 6 hours. Don't worry about that. So what we have to do is drain this. We need to drain it and rinse it so that the salt water is completely gone. This made a lot of its own liquids, and we want to drain all that off. But before I start rinsing it, I'm going to go to the stove and we're going to make the brine. So I'm going to mix the brine up in this big pot. I have my water bath canner full of water, and it is heating. So what we need for this brine is 8 cups of white vinegar. And I'm going to put everything in this big stock pot. The next ingredient is sugar. And this looks like a lot of sugar, I know. I'm not gonna add all of it because, and I'm gonna start the heat right away. So I'm gonna add most of this sugar. I know it looks like a lot, and it is a lot. This is cane sugar. This is raw sugar, which I am using. It is a lot of sugar because it is called a sweet relish. So you just have to keep that in mind. The next thing we're adding are our spices, and I have them all mixed here. There's celery seed, some nutmeg, and some black pepper. Also adding some turmeric to this. Put the lid on, and we'll let that heat up. All right, the way I'm going to drain my cucumber mixture is a colander, but my colander has fairly large holes in it, so I have a cheesecloth inside of it that will catch the smaller pieces. That way we don't lose any down the sink. And we're just gonna rinse this just like this. And look, I found a big piece, so set that aside. Now I'm not gonna squeeze all the juice out of it because I don't feel like if you put it in a colander and do that, it doesn't squeeze all the juice out. We wanna leave some of it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my stock pot with the vinegar mixture. All right, I have all the cucumber, onion, carrot mixture in here, and we're just gonna let this come up to a boil, and then we're gonna let it simmer for 20 minutes. I'm gonna cover it right now until it comes up to a boil, and then once it boils, I'm gonna turn it down, let it simmer with the cover off. Okay, I see that this is starting to boil. So I'm gonna take the lid off, give it a stir. We're just gonna let that simmer now for 20 minutes, set my timer. Okay, it's starting to get late in the day, but we're gonna finish this up. So this has been simmering for 20 minutes. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna shut the heat off. I'm gonna set this over here because I work off this side best. And then we're just gonna start filling our jars. I just took these jars out of the oven. They are super hot. So we're gonna go ahead and start filling these jars with the relish. Oh, it's bubbling even in the jars. That's good. We're gonna leave a half-inch headspace. This should probably make around 16 pints for a double batch. A single batch should make about 8 pints. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and debubble it. Okay, these are good. Now what you wanna make sure, this is very important because it's sugary, it's sticky. So take a paper towel or a clean cloth, get it wet or wet with water or vinegar, doesn't matter, it's up to you. And wipe wipe the rims really, really well. You don't want any of that sticky residue on the outside, otherwise you're not going to get a good seal, or it won't seal at all. Alright, so now we have the lids. Put all the lids on here a minute. Fingertip tight. We don't have to over tighten these at all. Should be pretty close to a boiling point. And I have my rack in here. I have my rack sitting up here on the edges so that I can take this and lower it in once I have all my jars on the rack. Okay, that looks like that's how many you get. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, yeah. Okay, now we're gonna cover this and we're going to bring it up to a boil. Once it starts boiling, then we set our timer for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'll bring you back and we'll take them out. In the meantime, while this is doing its job, I'm going to fill up the rest of my jars. So my timer just went off, and I don't want to turn my burner off because I have one more batch to go. So I'm just going to lift these out of here, out of the hot boiling water, grab with pot holders, and set them aside just like that. And that way they're out of the water. Use pot holders that you don't mind getting wet or dirty also, because I usually soak mine. And now we're just gonna transfer these onto this towel. I'm gonna leave them here for about 24 hours. After 24 hours, I will take the rings off of them and wash them up, label them, and then put them in storage. If you like relish and you are a canner, I hope you give this recipe a try. I'm pretty sure you'll like it.